Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, guys.
Hello, fellow blood angels. Good evening. How is everybody? So we got the data sheets for Leviathan. Just finished actually filming and uploading a video on data sheets. So that'll come out Friday. I've been saying for a while, I think that the Chainfist Terminators could be good in 10th edition. I think they're going to be better than Power Fists. So I have gone and found this ancient squad of this guy's plastic. This guy on the left, he is metal. So look how old his shoulder pads are. Holy shit. They're like mental old mate ones. Look at the state of these shoulder pads. But they're Chainfists, and Chainfists are going to be good. So I'm gonna get to work on a bit of chain-fisting Terminators, I guess. These guys haven't been touched in years at this point, probably. I'm trying to think the last time I ran these tournament. I did run them to a tournament. I think it was. I think I ran them at the tournament that. I was going to say, it was either 2020 or 2021 was the last time I ran Chainfist Terminators. I think it might have been 2021, because, yeah, it must have been, because 9th edition only came out in 2020. So yeah, I must have run these guys some point during 2021, so 2 years ago, so I haven't put any paint on these guys in 2 years. So, my Death Company that I've been painting are all but done. I just need to finish the transfers on them. So I thought to myself, I'll do transfers over the next couple of days. I'm not going to spend my stream time transferring them. So I'm going to work on doing a bit of painting on these Terminators. Good evening, Robert. How are you doing? I'm just going to proxy. Well, I don't think the Cataphractory Terminators are going to be legends, because on the data sheets that got released this week, Terminator captains can indeed join squads of relic Terminators. So I mean, yes, you might not be able to use Cataphractory anymore or have Cataphractory rules, but you never had Cataphractory rules in 9th edition anyway, right? You had to run them as relic Terminators. So it looks like relic Terminators still exist in 10th edition, unless there's a typo in the captain datasheet. And I feel like they would have double or triple checked those datasheets. So I feel it's very unlikely that there's not going to be relic Terminators. Good evening, James. How are you? Do you know what, over the last couple of weeks, Richards, we've had James Fisher and James Gibb on the channel for a game. So, like, where do you live, James Richard? We need to keep up need to get all the Jameses from the live chats along to where I work, so we can get a game of 40k. You're going to tell me now that you live in, like, Alaska or something, there's going to be no chance. Good evening, Bad Francis, how are you? But yeah, I think if you buy these new Terminators in the new box, and there's any way you can convert them to have Chainfists, I think it's going to be worth doing. Because I actually ripped the arms off. I was looking before I got on stream. I have like 4 or 5 more of these Terminators, and a bunch of them have Power Fists. But I thought to myself, I'm just going to focus on the ones that have Chainfists for the moment. Get a squad of Chainfist guys ready, just in case Chainfists are really badly needed. And Terminators have a bunch of new rules, you know, like if they're attached to a captain, they can get rerolls to charge. They can also deep strike in the opponent's turn. So maybe Terminators. You're in Wales. Okay, so just drive for like 15 hours up here for next Monday night. and then we can play a game. Perfect. I drove to Blackpool, or I drove home from Blackpool in a oneer last year with the 2 kids, and that was 400 miles. My house it was precise. It was almost uncanny. It was like, you know, in the speedometer you would like reset it before a journey to like count how many miles. I think it was like 400.0 miles. And I think it would have been like 390, but I you know when you miss your exit on the motorway sometimes, and then you get stuck, I guess, on the motorway for like, you know, sometimes there's no way to do a turn round or something for 10 miles. So I think I got stuck on the motorway. So it would have been like 390 miles, but I basically ended up making it 400 on the dot because I can't remember. I think me and my wife were arguing. It was like something like the kids had been all problematic and we had an early checkout. So we'd finally got checked out and we were arguing because I think she was arguing at me for not helping with the kids, and I was saying to her like, well, I had to pack the whole car. So like, you know, when you got 4 people in the family, packing the whole car takes a while, and then I just missed my turning off the motorway. So yeah, I guess Wales to Scotland would be... or Wales to where I live in Scotland would be probably at least 500 miles. And that's a lot of driving to do in a oneer, honestly.
Albino says, howdy Commander, I'm pretty excited to see coming battle reports for 10th edition.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be doing battle reports for 10th edition. I think the day that 10th edition launches, we'll be live, hopefully, most of the day. We'll do multiple battles, we'll get multiple armies in. That's the plan right now. If that changes, I'll let you know, but that is the plan. And I did get an update before the stream from Mike on the boarding actions terrain. He's really close to finishing that boarding actions terrain. That's a lot of terrain to paint. So at some point over the next month, I guess, I'll have all the boarding actions terrain as well, and it'll be nicely painted. So at some point, I don't know exactly when, but at some point we will do some boarding actions battle reports as well, which will be cool because just, you know, it gives us a bit of variation on the channel. Like, we can have long battle reports or we can have nice short ones as well. And I think boarding actions is a great way to get into 40k for people if they're not super engaged, or if they're newer. Of course, Space Hulk Terminators are the real Terminators. I mean, if you've got the Space Hulk Terminators, you're very lucky. They're a very cool set. You can pick them up on eBay, and they're not ridiculous. They're almost like 200 or like double the price that they were new. Unlike some kits and boxes and stuff that goes on eBay for insane money, the Terminators from Space Hulk actually seem like they're reasonably decently priced on eBay. Whereabout do I live? If you look where Aberdeen is on a map, which is like the northeast of Scotland, you basically have to go about an hour and a half north of Aberdeen to the coast, and that's pretty much where I am. So literally in the most northeast corner of Scotland that you can go to. So for me, it is honestly, I was going to say like a 4-hour drive to Glasgow or Edinburgh. And then Glasgow and Edinburgh are both about 90 minutes from the border. So it's like a 5.5-hour drive to get to England from where I am. I still don't have my Dante one, but congratulations on almost finishing yours. I have no idea when mine's going to come. I think at this point it's probably going to come after Leviathan. My thought is, if you want the Leviathan box set, you really need to be ready. You need to be so ready this Saturday morning, because like I think it's going to sell out quickly, and I think it's going to be scalped. Like I honestly expect to see a box of Leviathan on eBay on Saturday morning for $500. And if that's the only way of getting it, then I'm just not going to get Leviathan, I guess, because I'm not going to pay $500 for it. I'll tell you that right now. I'm wondering what they're going to do chapter specific Terminators. I was wondering that as well. Somebody said that they thought they might make like a chapter-specific Terminator upgrade sprue. That might work. Or that might be what they end up doing. I don't fully know what they're going to do about chapter-specific Terminators. Hello Jim, how are you? 500 miles is only a 6-hour drive. Yeah, on good roads, Wolfden. In Scotland, most of the roads are one car one way, one car the other way. Like, there is not multiple lanes. Once you get within like an hour of where I live, it's one car one way, one car the other way. So if you get stuck behind a camper van doing 40 miles an hour, then you're stuck behind that camper van for a long ass time. And it's very frustrating and it's actually very dangerous, but that's just the road network where I live is not great. Really not great. It's like 1950s roads, honestly. They were trying to get it improved, but apparently like the Green Party didn't want it. They didn't want more lanes put on the roads because it'll damage the wildlife and stuff like that, which is true. But I mean, it damages human life when people get frustrated because they're stuck behind a van doing 40 miles an hour in a 60-mile limit for like 30 minutes. The Glasgow store is opening early on Saturday for pre-orders at 10 AM. I'm still convinced that the site is going to crash. I think that's probably a good idea to go to the store, honestly. I think the website will be timing out. It might not be crashing, but I think it will definitely be timing out. Evening, Mike. How are you? Mike friggin' loves boarding actions. Was that your first game, Mike? I've still never played boarding actions. That's why I'm excited to get the terrain, and hopefully that'll happen in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, anytime you're driving from where I live to like the nearest big cities, you need to factor in like an extra 20 minutes because there's a very good chance you're going to get stuck behind something, and there is occasional like places in the road where it goes to 2 lanes, but they're like sometimes you could get stuck behind. You could be, I don't know, you could be 20 miles before you get to the next one of that. We call them I think they call them overtaking lanes actually when it's a single carriage road like that. I'm not entirely sure. It's crazy, man. It's so backwards. Are Chainfist just power swords with a chainsword bit? Never had any Terminators. I mean, they're basically they're a power fist, because this is a power fist with like a chain sword bit attached. That's what I was kind of saying to people, like if you know, I should be using my painting handle. Where the fuck is it? Here it is. That's what I was saying to people, that like maybe if you buy the new box and you've got the Power Fist Terminator squad, maybe you want to see if you can jerry-rig like a Chainfist or 2 into the squad, just because I think the anti-vehicle nature of it in 10th edition is going to be very useful. But it's hard to say, right? Because we still don't have all the rules or all the data sheets. They are sort of filtering out every couple of days at the moment. It does seem like there's new stuff coming and we see new things. So I guess we'll find out. But as it stands, it's kind of hard to guess. But I do think having Chainfist is going to be pretty helpful, I guess. These old metal Chainfists are kind of crazy. So I think I've got a couple more plastic ones. just going to do the 2 pipes in a slightly different color, so like one in silver and like one in bronze, basically. I suppose you could do these pipes in a blue color or something, but I'm probably going to do hazard stripes on the Chainfists eventually as well. But just start by painting them yellow, because it's a lot easier to do hazard stripes with the black than it is to try and paint on the yellow stripes over black. So that's kind of where I'm at with these guys. Nids tomorrow and generic Marines on Friday. Did they confirm that we're getting generic Marine datasheets on Friday, or is that all from the rumours as well? Is that like they confirmed that? I did look at Warhammer Community today. I've been trying to keep up with things. I'm eager to know what they're gonna give the lesser known units like the Blade Guard Ancient or the Judiciary. That's interesting because what did people think of the Lieutenant? The Lieutenant that they just released, like the Tyranid War Veteran Lieutenant. Does anyone had a look at his profile? Because I had a look at him. And I want to say I was like wholly unimpressed. I didn't think I was going to be that impressed anyway, because he has got like a combi Melta and or a combi weapon. It's not Melta now, of course. A combi weapon, and he has a combi weapon and paired combat blades. And honestly, like, I was reading his data sheet and I was like, man, I don't think this character's good at all. Like, I think he's possibly one of the worst characters I've ever seen. Does anyone like him? Underwhelming, but par for the course. Like, I thought he's super underwhelming. Like, his rules stink. And I read them a few times and was like, is this right? Like, he can't join any squads? He can only make you reroll ones if you target units on a specific objective you pick before the battle? I was like, this guy stinks, man. Like, really stinks. Jim says the Lieutenant is awful. A lone wanderer with a crappy knife and a lackluster gun. Yeah, like, combi weapons to me, because we've seen Sternguard now, right? And before we saw Sternguard, we didn't really have any real basis, I guess. We just know combi weapons got changed. But now that we've seen combi weapons and we've seen Sternguard, I was looking at it going, if you're running Sternguard now, I think you should actually run them with bolt rifles, because the bolt rifles look better than the combi weapons. The combi weapons for Sternguard, well, combi weapons in general just look like, combi weapons have had a huge nerf, like to a point where, like, I just think combi weapons are actually a terrible weapon now. I don't know if anyone thinks the new combi weapon is exciting, or anyone's excited about the new combi weapon, but I was just looking at it like, wow, this gun kind of stinks. Anti-infantry 1 does mean mortal wounds against infantry at least. I thought it just meant auto wounds against infantry on a 4-up. Mike, is that alright? Anti-infantry combined with devastating wounds. Is that how that works? You get a mortal wound on a 4-up against infantry. I mean, it's 1 mortal wound though from a combi weapon, whereas the combi weapon before it could do like 10 damage if it was a combi melta, or 6 damage if it was a combi plasma. So this Terminator is actually a Space Marine hero. I have quite a few Space Marine heroes. Most of my Space Marine heroes are the melee variety, but this is the Assault Cannon Space Marine hero. If you've not seen, the GW web store has changed. 40k selection has new keywords. All land speeders are now deep strike. Oh, that's strange. I mean, I guess maybe they've just changed. What did land speeders used to get? Outflank? So maybe outflank is gone and they're all deep strike now. I mean, they are trying to simplify rules. And it does sound like, I guess, if you think about outflank, they've made strategic reserves more flexible when they come in from the edge of the boards and stuff like that, so maybe that's just part and parcel of them making that stuff a bit easier. I don't know if it'll change a whole lot, but I guess that's what they've done. It's up to 3 shots? How is it 3 shots? I thought it was rapid fire 1. Nathan did the math on the new combi weapons and they were worse. So cool. I thought that, Nathan, when I was looking at it, I was like, the bolt rifles look better than the combi weapons now, which is really sad because the combi weapons, that's what everybody's going to have. Everyone's going to have Sternguard with combi weapons. I guess, is that to get people to buy Primaris Sternguard with bolt rifles? I mean, I guess as Blood Angels, I only ran Sternguard in the 1 patch, Arcs of Omen. I probably won't run them again, honestly. Because the cool thing about the bolt rifles as well, they're both heavy and they're assault, whereas the combi weapon isn't assault. So you can't advance and shoot your combi weapons. So I think having combi weapons for the Sternguard is actually going to be worse than combi weapons is going to be worse than just having bolt rifles. And it sounds like Nathan's done some maths on that and he agrees with me. I mean, I didn't do any maths, I was just looking at it. I'll do some maths on it probably once we have all the rules in front of us, but I was looking at it going, wow, combi weapons look gash now. I hate how the Sternguard can't take melee weapon on their sergeant. Yeah, I don't like that either. I think what they've done is they've given the Sternguard's bolt pistols devastating wounds, which I don't know if that makes any sense in terms of like the lore. What, they've got special ammunition in their bolt pistol that does mortal wounds compared to everybody else? The only reason I noticed that is because they specifically called it out. It's called a Sternguard bolt pistol. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Why did they name the Sternguard? Why didn't they just call it a bolt pistol? Why is it a Sternguard bolt pistol? Well, the answer is why it's a Sternguard bolt pistol is because on a 6, you'll do a mortal wound. And so it's like we lost the ability to take a combat weapon. But I guess if you're ever in combat and you shoot your pistols, you'll maybe do a mortal wound. I think I would prefer to still have the combat weapon. But hey, that's the ruling. That's what's changed to, I guess. The new rifles do seem pretty nice. Yeah, so I mean, maybe I was going to say maybe intercessors are actually pretty nice now, I don't know. I suppose it would be nice if intercessors were good, because I've got a boatload of them. I could just run them all as Death Company intercessors, right? Like, I literally have a boatload of them. I think the Infernus squad is the worst squad that I've ever seen. I don't understand them in the slightest, honestly, Rez. Because I just think that if I want flamers, I'm going to run Centurions or Aggressors. And Aggressors look so much like there's... Especially with that new character now that can join the Aggressors, who's got potential OC 9, which sounds crazy. I just don't see why I'm going to ever get excited about Marines with a Strength 5 Flamer. It's way too swingy, I think, to run in tournament play. Like, anything that can swing from 5 shots to 30 shots is just, like, way too swingy for tournament play, in my opinion. And it's got the same... I feel like it's got the same problems as... I feel like it's got the same problems as suppressors, right? The problem with suppressors was, like, their ability only affects infantry. So you've got the squad that maybe can be good, but only against infantry, and then you come up against an army that doesn't have any infantry, and then it's like, oh well, this one squad is completely useless. So I struggle to see why... Like, a lot of people have said Infernus squads are going to be good. I really struggle to see it. I just don't know. Maybe if they're OC2, but OC1 I just think they're a bit crap. So Sternguard use more lethal ammo. Well, yeah, I mean, it's cool and all, I guess. It's nice that their pistols do devastating wounds. I think I would have just preferred it if the Sergeant could have still taken a melee weapon, because that felt to me better than what we've ended up with, potentially. Fox decided not to get the box, he only wants the Terminators. That's fair enough, Fox. I think a bunch of people probably only want the Terminators. I can't see them Infernus being any cheaper than Infiltrators, or sorry, Intercessors, so I think there'll be 20 points per model. So, I guess if we, you know, I'll eat my hat if we see loads of people running Infernus squads. I'm not even going to build mine. The things I'm going to build from my box next are my... I'm going to build my Brutalis Dreadnought, I'm going to build my Desolator Marines. And then I'll probably build maybe that new Apothecary, so you can run with my Aggressors, because that looks pretty interesting. Would have the Aggressors just have to kill something in melee, and then the Apothecary becomes Objective Control 9? I mean, if you've got a squad of 6 Aggressors, I'm pretty sure they can kill something in melee. And I think that Apothecary can be attached on top of, like a Captain. The ability to battle shock out of the command phase could be powerful. Yeah, I mean, it could be, but the issue that I see there is, Mike, is if you fail the battle shock test, remember you're allowed to pay CP after you failed it to pass it. So, like, if the opponent really needs to pass the battle shock test, they'll just pay 1 CP on that unit. So, but I mean, I guess the issue is I haven't played any games with battle shock. So let's get into it and see if battle shock is going to be super important, because I guess if it's going to be coming up a lot, people are failing battle shock all over the place, then maybe The Infernus might be decent, but yeah, like, looking at it, I just think they look trash. You're taking Sternguard for the shooting as a sergeant, killing after war and throwing the rest of the guys in melee. I mean, as Blood Angels, I guess, like... They are trying to do that. They are trying to give squads basically one role. So I guess the Sternguard squad is now defined as a shooting unit, and they don't really want it to have... They don't want it to really have a reason to charge or a reason to fight in close combat, I guess you could argue. Marine Dreadnought's trying to use tank shot. I think that's going to be really good. If a melee Dreadnought uses tank shot, that's going to be super strong, I think. I actually don't have any flame aggressors. All my aggressors are the bolt ones. But I think the new Apothecary gives lethal hits as well, right? So six is auto wound for those new aggressors. So if you took 6 bolter aggressors with that new Apothecary, then on average a bolt aggressor gets like 9 shots. So if you have 6 of them, then you get what, 54 shots? 54 shots with 6s to auto wound, or 6s to hit rather, or auto wounds. So I think you're going to get like 10 auto wounds. So strength will be... There was a period at the I think it was at the beginning of was it the beginning of 8th edition? I think it was the beginning of 8th edition, where Ultramarine aggressors were broken because if they were in Tactical Doctrine, they could move and still shoot twice. So if you say an average squad of aggressors, 6 guys has 54 shots, then for Ultramarines they could have 108 shots. So you ended up killing shit with your aggressors because, yes, you're only hitting at strength 4 no AP, but you have 108 shots, and if you were near Guilliman, you could reroll all hits and all wounds, right? So now I guess you can have aggressors where, with Oath of Moment, you can reroll hits and wounds, and you can have 54 shots with 6s bursting into auto wounds. So like you'll actually be able to kill, like, you know, I don't know, people are running like high strength vehicles, lots of them. You'll actually be able to do like decent damage and, if not kill, some things with bolters from aggressors, just because you're going to have insane weight of fire and potential full rerolls and auto wounds. Three shots per model plus whatever. Oh, you think they're only going to get 3 shots now per gun as opposed to 6 because they're twin-linked guns? Oh, that's maybe interesting actually. Okay, so aggressors will get a lot less shots. I suppose you won't have to use Oath of Moment on them though, because twin-linked means rerolls to wound. That's interesting for aggressors. I still think they're going to be good. Hadn't considered they might lose 3 of their shots from their bolters because they're twin-linked bolters now. But I guess statistically, if everything balances out, that's probably what's going to happen, right? Three shots with twin-linked is meh. I mean, they get D6 from the grenades, but again, the thing I like about aggressors though is I think they're just more versatile in that they can do both shooting. And I guess if you're a Blood Angels player, you probably need to look at them as a melee unit, right? Because we don't really do all that shooting. And twin-linked power fists, is going to be not bad, I guess, in melee, because there's not many ways that we can reroll wound rolls. There'll be strength 9 on the charge. You get 1 extra attack. I imagine that means aggressors will have, what, 4 or 5 attacks? So you... and then lethal hits. I don't know, I think the Apothecary is maybe the most exciting character to me. The return of Twin Link does annoy the F out of me. I don't know, I think the return of Twin Link is probably going to help balance stuff. I just hope that all the factions get an equal... you know, like Twin Link stuff goes across all the factions in an equal manner, right? I never had a problem with Twin Link before. Ba week neat grana week ninny bomb. I have a funny story to tell you about that movie, actually, Mark. So if anyone doesn't know that, it's a quote from like the 1984 Transformers movie, and it's basically the universal greeting. Ba weep neat grana weep ninny bomb. And apparently in any language it means like, I don't know, I think they said in the movie it's just a universal greeting that's like language agnostic. So if someone says that to you, you always know it's a friendly greeting. So we were watching the 1984 movie with my 3-year-old Mark. And at the start of the movie, Unicron obviously eats a planet, and that's all fine and well and good. And, you know, we sort of glossed over the fact that Unicron had just, like, genocided this whole planet, and we just moved on. And then we were watching, like, Planet Earth, like, you know, or what is it, Blue Planet? You know, the David Attenborough series? We were watching that with her to, like, try and teach her about nature a few weeks ago. And the planet Earth, or our planet Earth, came on the screen. And I said to Annabella, "Hey, Annabella, look, what's that?" And she goes, "Daddy, that's Unicron." It's like, okay, definitely shouldn't have watched that Transformers movie. And I told one of my friends this story, and then he was like, "Aha, she's just a big Transformers fan, because in that random, I think it was like the Age of Darkness movie, the Earth was Unicron." And I was like, oh fuck, I forgot that. I wasn't really a big fan of the Michael Bay Transformers movies, but apparently that she was right. In one of those Transformers movies, the Earth is Unicron. So, you know. Is the Leviathan box limited edition, says Wolfden. They said that it's while stocks last, which means I would say yes. If you don't pre-order on Saturday, you're either going to have to get lucky on eBay or get unlucky on eBay, I guess. I mean, or find a random ass little hobby store somewhere in the middle of nowhere that has a copy that didn't get bought. Because I think everywhere that has them is gonna have, you know, they're gonna be like hotcakes on Saturday. I'd be very surprised if they don't sell out, like, based on the fact that, like, well, I ordered Dante on the 15th of April. So that's 7 weeks now. I ordered him on pre-order morning. Like, I was one of the first people to pre-order him, and I know I was because the website was crashing. You couldn't even log in the website. I was one of the first people to pre-order him. Here we are 7 weeks later, and I still don't have him. So, they're having some stock issues, I think, for sure. So Mr. Snake says they're going to have a lot of them, but it is indeed limited. Yeah, so I think if you're, well, I mean 100%, if you want them, if you want Leviathan, you need to be ready with a credit card at, like, you probably need to be ready before 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. Like, you need to be at your computer 10 minutes to 10, because it's sometime between like 10 minutes to 10 and 10 that the website starts accepting orders for it, because I've been there. And that's why I know I was one of the first people to get Dante, because because Dante is such a big deal for me, being that my channel is Blood Angels. I'd set an alarm and everything, and I was literally sat at the computer at 10 minutes to 10 on the Saturday morning thinking, I'm just going to get Dante into my basket. I was all logged into the website. I was like, I'm going to get Dante in my basket. I've got my card saved, and I'm just going to get through checkout as quickly as possible. It took me like 25 minutes to get through checkout, and here we are, you know, 7 weeks later, I still don't have them. So yeah, I think you're going to have to be super quick on Saturday morning. Maybe it won't be. Maybe it'll be fine. But I mean, I'm going to try and be quick. And I think a bunch of people are probably worried like I am, so they're going to try and be quick as well. So that probably means everybody needs to try and be quick. That's what I did before. Mike, I dual-loaded Element Games and Games Workshop. I didn't really care where I was going to get Dante. I was just going to take the first place that accepted my order. In hindsight, maybe I should have tried harder for the Games Workshop one. But the Games Workshop website was crashing more than the Element Games website. Like, the Games Workshop website barely even let me log in on the Dante pre-order day. Like, it was just getting like a white page that said, like, you know, the web server is dead or something like that. Or whatever that says, you know, like a Cloudflare. Cloudflare is like a cloud server, so basically like wherever Games Workshop's website is in the cloud was just dead. It was just unresponsive. So I got my order in at Element Games, but that still took like 25 minutes. I'm really upset, I suppose, if I don't get it. Like, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it, but it's going to be really frustrating. So yeah, I'll be here at 10 to 10, giving it a whirl, crossing my fingers. I'm sure I'll see a bunch of people post in the Discord happily once they manage to get it ordered or not. I heard one store had 270 copies. I mean, maybe some stores have had a lot of copies, I don't know. Victor says, I'm thinking about getting back into Blood Angels since 2012. Should I start building a Death Company army now, or should I wait for new models? It's a really hard question to answer, Victor, because they've basically already planned the codexes for like the next year, and Blood Angels isn't on the list. So you should probably wait until the 24th of this month, just to make sure everything has rules that you're going to buy, and then go to town and buy as much as you can and get it all done then, because after the 24th we're not going to see any changes to Blood Angels probably for at least a year. And if they do change stuff, it'll probably just be like some new models and some new kits, so I hardly think that they're going to legend stuff in the middle of the edition. So I think what I would do is I would wait till the 24th, or wait until all the rules are coming, because they're coming out things are getting leaked. They're not getting leaked, they're getting drip fed out by Games Workshop every few days. So I'd keep an eye on that. And then get them ordered, and then order whatever you fancy. Because nothing's going to change for like a year. Marius says my local Games Workshops said he's going to use the allocated stock to fulfill anyone that doesn't get a pre-order. He also said he will be able to collect it at midnight on release day. Well, dude, where's your local Games Workshop? The guy sounds like a superstar. Maybe you shouldn't say, actually, because you'll get in trouble. Because I'm pretty sure that they don't... I was going to say, I don't think Games Workshop pay them overtime to come in at midnight. I've never heard of a midnight release from Games Workshop. But that's awesome. That's good that you've got such a... I really want to buy the box set from Games Workshop this time, because... Well, I would like to buy it from a store, because I want the Battleshock tokens. Because you get like Battleshock tokens and some other tokens and stuff if you buy it from a store. The problem I have is, like, my nearest store is like... If I drove from my house to the store, it would take 90 minutes. But the problem is I'm not going to be able to park at the store, because the store is in the centre of town. So it would be like... So I have to drive 90 minutes to a car park. I have to park, then I have to walk 10 or 15 minutes to the store, and then I would have to drive back. So for me, it would be like... It would be the best part of 5 hours to go to the Games Workshop store. I guess this is why when I was a kid, I never went to the Games Workshop store, and it's why I don't have very much experience going to tournaments at Games Workshop stores, because the nearest one is literally a 5-hour round trip, which is annoying. Yeah, what can you do, I guess? These old metal Terminators are ridiculous. Like, the detail on them just looks kind of terrible. Mark says, did you notice the Ahsoka TV show had a release date? I didn't, Mark. When is the release date? I've been Victor, what did you say? You're going to start buying bits of pieces here or there a couple of weeks. Yeah, you're more than welcome. That's probably what I would do, because I mean, I just bought a squad of Death Company not that long ago. I bought another squad of Sanctuary Guard not that long ago. If you're worried, Victor, what you could probably do is prioritize some of the Primaris models, because you're going to want, like, Infiltrators, they're kind of the best Primaris troop choice. Incursors, they're arguably the best Primaris troop choice for Blood Angels. Blade Guard are really, really useful. They're going to be even better now. They can go in transports. So there's Aggressors sound like they just got a big buff today with the new Biologist Gravis guy, potentially. So, like, I would maybe, if you're not sure, then I would maybe say you could prioritize some of the Primaris models they're definitely not going anywhere in terms of, like, range refreshes. They're all brand new, and some of them are pretty competitive, it feels like. Yeah, no, I was distracted today by that new Apple headset, and can I just say that the price of it is absolutely ridiculous, but man, does it look cool. Did anyone else see it? I think it's called, like, Apple Vision Plus or something? I don't know, I'm a big iPhone fan, I love my iPhone. 23rd of August, that's sooner than I thought it was. John, did you see the Primaris Captain datasheet? He can go Rage mode with 9 attacks and devastating wounds. For one turn, he can get +3 attacks, Jacob. I did see that. So it's interesting, and what I found interesting about that, Jacob, is that, so, let me get this right. Terminator Captain, he gets to reroll the charges for any unit that he joins with. So if a Terminator Captain, like, joins a Terminator squad, he can only join Terminator squads. So you can join a Assault Terminator squad, a regular Terminator squad, or a Relic Terminator squad. He makes them reroll their charge. However, a Primaris Captain, his special ability is once per game, he can make his weapon become devastating wounds, and he can get +3 attacks. So that's kind of a little bit like those Gravis fighting styles that we saw, but kind of more situational. So, like, once per game, get +3 attacks, he hits on 2s, you probably have, like, a Relic Blade or a Thunderhammer, I suppose. Actually, a Primaris Captain can't take a Thunderhammer, can he? He probably just has a Power Sword or a Relic Blade, I guess. Phobos and Tactical Squads won't be Battle Line in 10th? Really? Phobos won't be Battle Line? Why not? Surely you don't see Phobos as a elite, like a equivalent of an elite choice, do they? I was convinced Phobos would stay pretty much what they are, Battle Line, because that's what they are, aren't they? Rizzo says I don't buy Apple. Well, you're missing out, Rez. I had an Android before and then I switched to Apple, and I'll tell you, I'll never go back. I know they're a bit more expensive, but the end user experience is just so much better. It just works. You don't have to mess around with anything. So I'm very Apple. I want to buy the Apple HomePod. It's just too expensive at the moment. But yeah, the Vision Plus thing looks dope, man. Does anyone know if Games Workshop's Collector Edition minis are sold at the Warhammer World store? The limited edition minis I don't believe are sold at Warhammer World. They used to have like a special Command, Rhino and Land Raider, I think, that were like the Warhammer World store equivalent, limited edition, or Warhammer World, can't even say that tonight, Warhammer World like exclusives. but they don't have like the models that are like, you know, made to order or limited time order or anything like that. They don't have that stuff at Warhammer World, unless they've changed it since I was last there. I mean, they've got a good shop with the selection of just about everything, and they've got a good Forge World shop, but I guess the Forge World shop's probably less interesting now that you can't take the Forge World units into 40k, I guess. Certainly less interesting for me. I had a budget I was going to buy a bunch of Forge World stuff throughout 10th. I'm just not going to do it anymore. So I guess I might buy another Primaris tank now. I'm not as excited about it as I was to buy something else Forge World though. I love Forge World. I like the uniqueness of some of the Forge World models, I think. Who's... I mean, I love these old metal models, don't get me wrong. Just, I feel like they haven't aged all that well. I mean, I guess it was they're a product of their time, aren't they? Yeah, until we know all the enhancements, I don't really know. I guess we can't tell how many attacks we're potentially going to get on the charge and stuff like that, right? We kind of just have to wait to find out. Did you see the article today that said one army can't take from another chapter? I did see that, Marius. So I mean, if that is the only ruling on it, then I think you're right. As it stands, based on that rule, you cannot run Guilliman, or in fact, I guess the Lion, with any other chapter than their like parent chapter. So like the Lion obviously has to be run with Dark Angels. Guilliman obviously has to be run with Ultramarines. The question, however, is if there'll be that caveat rule, because like the caveat rule in 9th edition was a caveat. It was like in one of the FAQs, or it was in one of the main rules that was like, if the model is a Primarch, then you can do whatever the hell you want. So I guess there could be a call out specifically to Primarch to be like, you can run a Primarch with another chapter. I think it would be cool if they kept that. I liked that. I thought it was cool, but maybe they didn't like. I was going to say, maybe they didn't. Games Workshop didn't like other chapters running Primarchs, right? For example, like maybe they didn't like in Arcs of Omen, Blood Angels running Guilliman. But honestly, percentage-wise, like if you broke down percentage-wise, I think how many Blood Angels players ran Guilliman in 9th edition? Apart from me, there was like, I want to say like there was 5 other people that did it. Like there was so few people that actually ran Guilliman. I said a bunch of times, I was like, Guilliman's super fun with Blood Angels. The buffs he's got that stack with Blood Angels in 9th edition, they're huge. They benefit the crap out of Blood Angels. Maybe that's why they I can't believe that they paid attention to my one tournament that I went to with Guilliman, because I didn't even do that well with them. Trusted I had like no practice, or maybe like 2 practice games with them. And I'd had like 2 practice games with the list, so it was like a list I hadn't really had a chance to practice with, and Guilliman who I hadn't really had a chance to practice with. And I didn't do all that well at the tournament. I lost 2 games. So I can't imagine that like my pathetic tournament results would have impacted them on saying, hey, you can't run Guilliman, right? So it seems strange that they put that into Arcs of Omen, like, hey, you can run Guilliman if you want, and then like take it out straight away afterwards. Like, I get it was possibly an experiment. Like Arcs of Omen did feel a bit like an experiment of a season. To me, it did anyway. But like, like it was such a bad experiment, they just instantly took it back out, Marius? I don't know. I'm not buying it. I don't think anyone, apart from Colin complaining on the stream that my Blood Angels army was too strong with Gilliman, I don't think anyone was specifically like going to tournament going, oh crap, Gilliman plus Iron Hands or Gilliman plus Blood Angels is going to be too difficult for me to beat. I don't think anyone was saying that. I could be wrong, but I really don't think anyone was saying that. There's no rebooted Gilliman, only Roboto Gillinot. You're a champion, James. You are actually right, yeah. Gilliman is a lie. Roboto Gillinot is where he's got it, you know, that's where it's at. I'll be sad if I can't run Roboto Gillinot. I might actually, even though I genuinely never paint models if they're not competitive, because like I've got a super heavy tank that's half painted, I've got that Vindicator Laser Destroyer that's 3/4 painted. I'm annoyed by the Vindicator Laser Destroyer because it's 3/4 painted and I never got to take it to a tournament. And now it's going to be Legends and never get played, or it's never going to get painted either, because I typically don't waste my time painting stuff I can't play competitively. But I might actually finish Gillinot just because I put a lot of effort into Gillinot. Do visual rules matter for your army? Could I run general units as very bloody Ultramarines? They used to matter. Games Workshop used to say, like, if your army was painted as Blood Angels, you typically had to run them in a tournament as Blood Angels. I believe this edition they're doing away with that. So if your army's painted as Blood Angels, if you want to take them as a successor, if you want to take them as Ultramarines, as long as it's a valid army, it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter anymore, I guess, how they're painted. Does that answer the question? Evening, Cambo, how are you? I believe John Lennon ran White Scars Gilliman a few times. Okay, cool. So someone at a reasonably high level was running it. And was it problematic? Like, did he win tournaments with it, or was he just running it because it was fun? It's funny that I finally decided to paint these guys though, because doing this probably means that I'm not going to paint the new Terminators that come out of the box. Or I'm not going to paint them for a very long time. This might be my last squad I get finished before the release of 10th, actually. I know he also ran a Crimson Fist army to like a high tier tournament that did nothing, so maybe he was just trying to have fun. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Gilliman being in the other chapters is game breaking or too strong or something that they cannot balance. So I guess we just have to wait and see what's happening with Gilliman and the Lion. I never bought the Lion kind of precisely for what we're talking about here, in that like I thought I'll buy the Lion if I know 100% I can field them. I'm not going to buy a character I can't potentially field. It's just not, I guess, cost effective or time effective or whatever for me. That's what I'm more annoyed about with the Forge World stuff, is the time that's lost as opposed to the money, because the money's already spent. Like, you can't get the money back, but I mean, I guess arguably you can't get the time back either. I put a lot of time into every single model. I put a ton of time into all my Forge World Dreadnoughts, my Forge World tanks, everything. Like, put tons of time into that just to get told that that time is meaningless. It's annoying. Like, I was like borderline depressed for a few days after that, honestly. But yeah, it's really made me reevaluate. Like, I was going to buy an Astraeus tank at some point. I'm really reevaluating Forge World purchases if they can just be made legends without any notice, man. I look at what they did in Arts of Omen. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could just think of Arts of Omen as it's the end of the season. Peter, thanks so much for subscribing. They want you to play with all the toys. That's where it is, right? Like, and I get that. And it was a fun season, and I guess I should thank Games Workshop for doing such a fun season, because I think when I first read the Arts of Omen rules, I thought, like, oh god, this is going to be ridiculous. And then it turned out to just be an actually very fun season. Yeah, a lot of people said I could play Heresy, Marius. My problem is I just don't have time, dude. I'd love to, but I have a day job, I have 2 kids, I have a wife, and I have basically YouTube videos to make every week as well, so there's no time in my life to have to learn another rule set and then actually be good at it and actually remember the differences. I have no chance to do that. I played James I hadn't played in 2 weeks. I guess just because we're getting to the end of the edition, and I was trying to make my streams more painting focused just for like a few weeks, months, whatever. Because like I have a lot of stuff that I would like to have ready for 10th edition, and I mean, I always feel like I've got a lot of stuff to do, but I thought to myself, like, I noticed my views were down, so a lot of people had kind of not been watching the 9th edition content anymore. I guess a lot of people are on the hype train for 10th edition, I get that. I'm kind of on that hype train myself. So I thought, like, oh well, I'll just do a bit more painting, because everybody's kind of on the hype train, everybody's waiting for 10th anyway, so I'll do a bit more painting and maybe less battle reports for a month or 2 months. And that's one thing that annoys me with the painting handle, is sometimes like it's just too wide to then paint the fiddly details. But yeah, so overall, I think as silly as maybe Arcs of Omen originally I thought it might be, I actually think it was a good last season for 9th edition. I thought it was great they opened up some options like that. I hope they maybe open up some options like that again. You know, things that typically people aren't playing, bring them back in, make it really fun. So yeah, as much as I was down at the start of 9th edition or start of Arcs of Omen, when I thought this was kind of a silly season, it actually was a good season in terms of like just everyone was able to chill a little bit and have a lot of fun with their army illustrations and stuff like that. So I enjoyed it a lot. I don't think I'll ever get to do this full-time, Marius, but thank you so much for the vote of confidence. I think it will get bigger in 10th edition. I think there might be more crossover between the factions and stuff because of the sort of generic Space Marine rules. So yeah, no, thanks. That's very kind of you to say. I think, I hope to do more content. Like, obviously I'm going to try and do some boarding actions at some point sooner rather than later, and I'm going to try and do some other new content on the channel, but yeah, I don't think I actually don't think I'd want to do YouTube full time, because it would be scary. And like, I've made videos before, right, where I spent like the whole week, every night of the week, like grinding to like midnight, working on this video, and I've been convinced in my mind, like I've been like, this is the best fucking YouTube video I've ever made in my life. This video is going to get so many views, you know, this is the best video ever. And then I put it out and like nobody watched it, right? And then on another week, because I've got like the 2 kids, let's just say like one of my kids is ill, one of my kids is teething, I've had like no time, so I've thrown together like a video in like 20 minutes, and I've been convinced. I was like, man, I know this video this week sucks, I didn't have nearly enough time to work on it, no one's going to enjoy it. And then it's like, boom, Analytics tells me everybody loved the video I threw together in 20 minutes. Nobody loved the video that I spent like the whole week up until midnight every night working on it. So it's like, when that happens, Marius, the one takeaway I have from it is like, I know literally nothing about YouTube. So I see it's for me, it's a hobby. It was a good hobby, right? Have I ever thought about organising a get-together? Loads of people have asked me to organise a get-together for Blood Angels at Warhammer World. Like, it gets brought up quite a lot. I will do it. I think I will probably do it, like, no sooner than, like, 2 years, right? Because, like, it will require me to go away for a long time from the family. And, like I said, I get 2 very young kids. And they're very full on at the moment. I'd go as far to say, like, we're going through it right now with the kids. Like, one of them's 1, one of them's 3. And it's really tough. Like, it's really tough. Like, when I came home from work today, one of the kids was having this giant meltdown, and wife was basically, like, ready to just walk out the door and leave. Because she's like, can you please help me with this? And I was like, yeah. You know, like, I actually told her to go put her shoes on and go out for like an hour. She's like, why? And I was like, you just need an hour without screaming children. So, you know, I'll deal with the kids' dinner. I'll get them ready for bed. You know, I'll do all that. You just need an hour, trust me. Like, I said to her, like, I'm good. You know, I've been at work all day. No one's been screaming at me. You need to just go and get an hour without that. Because it can be a lot, man. Man, I get bummed seeing awful YouTube channels do well when obvious lies and hate. There is a few really negative channels on Warhammer 40,000 Marius. I prefer to just ignore those channels, and I generally am not going to give my opinion on them. You know, I just try to always make this channel positive and inclusive, and that's where we're at. Indirect with Oath of Moments could be strong, peppering of 1 unit. Oh my god, Jim, I never even thought about indirect Oath of Moment. Full hits to what is it? Full rerolls to hit and wound. Indirect. Huh. I never even thought about that. When you mention it, that actually might be strong. Podger says the algorithm is a cruel master. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, Podger. You guys all support me. I've kind of got my audience now. We've got a great Blood Angels community. If people don't watch the videos on any given week, you know, yes, I get like less ad revenue and stuff like that, but it's not the end of the world for me. It's like, it's I think one of the main reasons I started YouTube was because, like, on the Blood Angels Reddit, because I use the Blood Angels Reddit quite a bit, and I do answer people and stuff like that on Blood Angels Reddit, you know, when they post army lists and stuff. I was asking questions, but like no one was answering me. And that's no one's fault, right? There's like a lot of posts go on Reddit and some of them get lost and stuff, but I was a bit frustrated. I was like, man, I just want Blood Angels players that I can talk to, like, all the time. So I basically started this channel selfishly to find Blood Angels players to talk to. And now we're all here. We're all here. There's like 3,500 of us in the Facebook group, and there's, I think, over 1,200 now in Discord, and like, well, like 12,500 subscribers. So it's like, if there's anyone's got any questions, we have a, because the Reddit to me seems like most people on Blood Angels Reddit are posting photos, which is fine. I mean, Reddit is a place where you post photos, but like, hey, and sometimes people answer when you ask about army lists on Reddit. And sometimes if someone asks about an army list on Reddit and I'm browsing Reddit, I will actually say to them, like, hey, you know, my opinion is, you know, this unit isn't great in this army list because, and then sometimes I'll link them to a video where I've like talked about it, but I don't know how anyone manages to survive with more than 2 kids, Rez. It would drive me up the wall. So if you were managing fine with 3, then honestly, my hat is off to you. Yeah, no, I do want to do a meetup, I think. I think I'd probably end up doing it in an independent store. Like I might try and do it somewhere like Element Games, because I think if we did do a meetup and it was like 50 Blood Angels players coming together, I think I would rather be allowed to film it. And from what I understand, you're not really allowed to film at Warhammer World unless you're Games Workshop. I could be wrong there, but I think I'd want to try and film it if we did do a like big Blood Angels meetup. I mean, the Blood Angels Reddit over the last month has been a new picture of Dante every 10 minutes. Which is fine. I mean, I'm sure if I'd had my Dante, I would have posted a picture of him by now, right? But yeah, so it's like there's 30,000 people in the Blood Angels Reddit, and so far we've had like 10,000 posts of Dante. I'm so jealous, man, and I hope I get my Dante soon, honestly. I can't believe it's taken this long. I feel like such an idiot from not pre-ordering it from Games Workshop, honestly, at this point. But I mean, I checked the Games Workshop store just the other day. I mean, it's sold out there as well, so. Yeah, I've heard people say that going from 1 to 2 kids is like kind of insane, and then once you go beyond 2, it's not all that much more insane. But yeah, 2, I feel like we're going through it with the 2 right now, and it's tougher than you realise, I guess. Like, if you just want to sit down for 10 minutes in peace and quiet on any weekend day, good fucking luck. Did I watch the video of the Desolators conversions? I didn't yet, Marius, but I did favourite it on my Twitter. What I'm planning on doing is probably after I finish these guys, going to do my Desolators. So if there's a way to convert them to look a bit cooler, I'm going to 100% follow the video that you linked. So thanks for that. Because I didn't hate, like a lot of people literally hated how the Desolators looked. I don't think I hate how they look, but if there's an easy way to make them look better, I'm all for it, right? And I can probably make, like, I've got I've got boxes and boxes of bits. So I noticed that you said they look better with, I think it's like the old missile launcher backpacks, right? From the Firstborn. So I probably have 5 of those, actually. I might even have 10. So I figured I was going to have a nosy around and see what I could find, right? I was thinking of doing 5 with Super Crack. And I think I was going to do my... So when the Leviathan box comes, I'm going to do that new Apothecary, because he looks like he's going to be crazy, actually. So I guess I'm going to do the new Apothecary. What else am I going to do? I'm going to do the Brutalis Dreadnought that I've got from Strike Force Augustus. I'm going to do at least 5 of the Desolator Marines, because I think Desolator Marines, assuming they get to keep the D3+3, that will be pretty useful, because it doesn't seem like that much stuff has D3+3 now. There is a chance they move to like D6+1 or something similar to everything else, though, I guess. So out of the whole box, the Leviathan box, the thing I think I'm most excited about now is the Apothecary, right? I already got loads of Terminator Captains, already got loads of Terminator Librarians, obviously got loads of Firstborn Terminators with bolt guns in that I'm literally painting them right now, or with Stormbolters rather. I don't rate the Inferno Squad, I've talked about them. I don't rate that lieutenant at all. The Terminators war veteran lieutenant, I think he seems really poor. So then it comes down to that ballistas dreadnought. And I mean, I do like Redemptor's chassis dreadnoughts. I have 3 Redemptors, obviously I have a Brutalis. I'm gonna have 2 ballistas because I'm trading my half of the Tyranid stuff for more Marines. So yeah, I'm just not 100% sure, I guess. My JT says I'm sad I didn't get the Gustus box. I assume that, like, assuming that, like all their efforts have been to have stock of the Leviathan box, which is what we've heard, kind of assume that the Gustus box will be broken down into individual parts sooner rather than later after Leviathan is shipped. It's a bit annoying that Brutalis dreadnoughts can't be bought, because I think I'd probably want, I don't know, I mean, I have to see the profile of the Redemptor dreadnought first to know if I need to buy multiple Brutalises. And it's going to come down to, like, it's probably going to come down to, I think the Redemptor dreadnought will still be really good in melee combat. So I think it's probably going to come down to what the plasma cannon profile looks like for the Redemptor dreadnought. Like, is the plasma cannon going to be viable? Because, like, in 9th edition it really was borderline not viable. Like, you were almost better taking, like, Relic Contemptors with Volkites over plasma cannon dreadnoughts. The lieutenant seems very specially anti-Tyranid. I think he's just a cool painting project more than a gaming piece. He is, yeah. I mean, to me it almost seems weird to make a character be anti-Tyranid, because then you're just basically really limiting when he's going to be picked, right? Like, if you make any character anti-one army, well, there's 20 armies in the damn book, right? Or there's 20 armies in the game, so it's like, if you make a character only good into one army, a lot of people are going to realise that you have to pay the points cost for that character to be good into that one army, but most of the time you don't fight that one army, so it's a strange decision for me that they made that Tyranid, that lieutenant very anti-Tyranid. I think I was actually excited to get 2 of those lieutenants. I was like, oh cool, we're going to get 2 more lieutenants that I can join to squads. This one's got a combi melter, that could be pretty useful. I was thinking to myself, like, you know, I already got like a bunch of the Blade Guard lieutenants with the storm shields on the 2 damage mastercrafted power swords. In fact, here's one that I made earlier. Yeah, I made this guy. He's got like a custom shield and a custom head. And I had this guy on my desk for like a month. I'm waiting to spray him with Dante, because I'm gonna spray him the same fucking color as Dante. Like, send me my Dante! God damn it! Then I'm gonna spray this guy at the same time. I was gonna save some paint. I'm gonna save some spray paint and spray him at the same time. He's probably getting sprayed gold, because I did all my other Blade Guard in gold. So I was gonna spray him black. I was going to spray Dante black, and then I was going to spray them both gold. 2 birds, 1 stone sort of thing. The Brutalis should be superior for tank shock. It might be slightly superior, right? But, like, if the Redemptor Dreadnought's fist stays the same, then it's strength 14. You get +1, well, the +1 actually doesn't matter from their charging, because it says the strength of the weapon. So if the weapon stays at strength 14, then I think the Brutalis is basically the same strength. Like, so they're both strength 14. So tank shock is you just pick one weapon. You obviously pick your highest strength melee weapon, which is your strength 14 fist. If your strength is higher than your enemy's toughness, which it will be, I guess, 99% of the time, because most things are not going to have toughness 14 or higher, then you get to roll, what was it? It was a d6 for every point of strength you have, plus 2d6 if you're higher. So you'll basically just roll 16d6 with tank shock with a Redemptor Dreadnought, and for every 5 or 6, you do a mortal wound. So 16d6, statistically from 16d6, you should roll like 5.5, 5 pluses, I think. Or 5 1/3, 5 pluses. So statistically, every time you play tank shock, if you charge with a Redemptor Dreadnought, you're going to do 5 mortal wounds. I would assume that most of the time you're going to do 6. Because if the average is like 5.5, you're probably going to get like 1 extra 6 most of the time, or 1 extra 5 most of the time. Your Sangre Guard looked terrible next to new Dante. That makes me sad, man. I like the Sangre Guard models. I never think they look terrible. I'm gonna be sad if I put them next to Dante and they just look bad. Yeah, so I don't think a Brutalis has any more strength than the Redemptor's Fist, so I think the Redemptors will be just as effective at tank shock as a Brutalis Dreadnought. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, when I first saw new Dante, I honestly thought he might have been in like Gravis armor. I thought he was big enough to be, like, you know, like I thought it might have been in, like he could have been thought of like having that Inceptor like jump armor that the other Primaris had, because we never really had a Primaris model with a jump pack that didn't have like Gravis armor, right? Because the only ones we've got are really the Inceptors with the Gravis. But I guess it seems that Dante, apparently he's just been hitting the Primaris gym, says James. Seems accurate, I guess. I think we'll probably get true scale Sangre Guard at some point. I kind of hope that they go the true scale way with them. Like, I don't really necessarily want to have to rebuy and repaint all my Sangard and Primaris form. Kind of want them to do what they're doing with these Terminators and just be like, right, we're going to true scale the Primaris. Sorry, we're going to true scale the Sangre Guard. Or whatever. What have they actually called these new Terminators? Have they called them like true scale Terminators or what? What did they actually call them? I'm drawing a complete blank now. Is Dominion Zephon with a base extender a reasonable way to proxy Dante? He probably would be, actually, because he's quite tall, right? That'd probably be better than the way that I've been proxying Dante, with just putting a base extender on my firstborn one, because that's the only option I've got. Also, what model can be the Tech Marine servo guy? You mean servitor? Sorry, what do you mean Tech Marine servo guy? His post... Yeah, I mean, I guess the sword's tall enough, though, where I think it would be a reasonable proxy on Zephon. He holds the sword straight up in there, right? I mean, I may end up having to go to a tournament with my firstborn Dante and tell the TO that, like, hey, still waiting on my Dante, he was ordered in April. What the hell am I supposed to do? Yeah, I was planning on putting quite a lot of effort into the new Dante when he... I wonder if the captain on a bike is going to be retired, or if we're still going to get like one more edition of captains on bikes. They did say today, though, that there's going to be, or was it yesterday, that there's going to be more Marine releases? Like, they're going to do more releases based on whoever wins this new Battle of Ogshram? I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. Did you guys see the information about Ogshram? Blood Angel's Terminator Squad just became available online in the US. Do you think I should get them now or wait to see what the data sheet looks like first? I mean, I think we can probably make a very good guess on what the profile. I would say we can probably make like a 90% guess on everything that's on the data sheet for the Blood Angels Terminators. What's your question? Like, what's making you wait and not buy them? And I probably can answer your question, because we've seen the firstborn, or we've seen these new Terminator data sheets for like the regular Terminators, the bolter Terminators, the one I'm painting right now, Jeremy. So, and we've seen all the weapon options. Like, we've seen Thunder Hammers, we've seen Relic Shields, we've seen Twin Link Lightning Claws. So we probably know. We can probably extrapolate the answer to any question you have about Assault Terminators. For the record, the Blood Angels Terminator Assault Squad, like the one that exists right now, it's a brilliant kit. If you don't own that kit at all, if you've never owned it, I would almost say like you should just buy it, because it is a brilliant kit. And I own actually like maybe more than 2 of those kits, because I've got like 2 Ancients and 7 with Thunder Hammers and 7 with Lightning Claws. I think I basically had 2 of those kits, and then I think I added some Space Marine heroes to mine to sort of bump out. I think I might have bought a couple of Ancients on eBay as well, though, actually, so I just had even more Blood Angels Terminators. I'll be surprised if the captain on the bike exists at launch. I guess we'll see, Rez, right? I'm surprised we actually haven't had a Primaris captain on a bike yet. We just have the chaplain on the bike. The Primaris captain on a bike could be very cool. He could come with multiple weapon options. He could redefine the role of a Smash captain. It would have been awesome. Still would be awesome. Let's keep our fingers crossed for that one. Where do I get the music from, Marius? It's all from White Bat Audio. So if you go into YouTube and just search White Bat Audio, there's a guy called Carl. His channel is probably going to come up first. And he makes a ton of synthwave music. This
this exact track is called. This is like a 2-hour mix. It's called Space Weave Mix. So if you search White Bat Space Weave Mix, you'll find his channel, and from there you'll be able to find all his music. He does tons of really good music. I use it all the time. I'm very fortunate that he does it royalty free. But this is, see, when I'm doing my day job as well, I listen to his music as well. He probably makes a bunch of ad revenue out of me because I listen to his music on stream, I listen to his music on my day job. It's just very chilled. It reminds me of the 80s. An old video game from the 80s or something like that is the vibe that I think it's going for. And I think he hits it. I think it's good. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, Marius. I appreciate it. And thanks for the kind comments earlier. I do appreciate that as well. It's nice that someone who's so prolific or so good at painting drops past my stream, honestly. Because I think, like, I'm a very average painter, so it's nice to see some people think that some of the stuff that I do has value beyond painting, so I appreciate that. Lo-Fi Girl Synthwave channel and repeat for months. Yeah, I find myself listening to the same synthwave over and over and over. They revealed the Terminator data sheet with no claws and no hammers. Yeah, I mean the one that's been revealed, Jim, doesn't talk about is the Terminator squad with the bolters, right? That's the one that we've seen. But what I'm saying is I would say we can predict with 90% accuracy now what a Assault Terminator squad will look like, right? Like a Thunderhammer is strength 8, it's -2, it's 2 damage, it's got devastating wounds. A Lightning Claw is strength 5, it's -2, it's 1 damage, it has twin linked, and because it's got twin linked, you get 1 extra attack, but you have to give up your Storm Shield to get it. The only thing we don't know is what the Storm Shield will actually give. I think everything else about Assault Terminators we probably already know, right? Which is what I was saying, is like if there's a question about Assault Terminators, I feel like we can probably answer it to a pretty high degree of accuracy. Am I a Dance with the Dead fan? I don't know what that is, a band? Where does it say Storm Shields were +1 wound? I noticed it said Relic Shields were +1 wound. But I haven't seen where it said Storm Shields were +1 wound. But obviously I could have missed it. I have been trying to keep up with all the new data sheets. Oh, it's premium Synthwave. No, okay. I'll check it out. Bad Francis. I actually just bought tickets to see Metallica like before we came on the stream. Metallica are ridiculous these days. I remember, I was going to say I went to the Death Magnetic tour. I went to see Metallica before that, actually. I think they've gone up like 5 times the value of what they need to be charging, honestly. Jeremy, you're most welcome. Thanks for asking the question. Please consider subscribing if you've not done it before. But yeah, hang out. We have multiple streams every week. You should also, if you ever type in the chat !Discord, we do have a Discord room, which, like I was saying earlier in the stream, has like over 1,000 Blood Angels members now in Discord, or 1,000 members in the Blood Angels Discord, however you want to look at it. And like a lot of the people in Discord are a lot of the people that you see here in the live streams, and they're all really friendly and they're all just as knowledgeable as me, really, if not more so, some of them. And yeah, if you've got questions and stuff, people are always like, I mean, I ask questions in Discord and people help me out. So like I said, I kind of started the channel to create that community where I could have someone to speak to about Blood Angels at any given day or time, I guess, right? So yeah, please think about joining our Discord. librarians with... The librarians will give your Stormbolters a bunch of devastating wound shots, yes. And then I guess you could argue that having a assault cannon would be good for devastating wounds as well, right? I was going to say, the one time I tell people to type exclamation mark Discord, my bot's going to be like... The bot's going to be fucking taking the night off, is it? Let me try it myself. I think the bot might actually be case sensitive. Let's check. If it answers me, then we know it's case sensitive, which is not great. I mean, I don't know if it needs to be case sensitive. No, maybe bot. That damn bot takes the night off more often than yeah, if the bot's taking the night off, 1 second and I'll actually just generate a Discord link for you. Give me a sec. Discord. Alright, here's a Discord link. You know, I was very chuffed actually to win Best Sportsman at the last GT I went to this year, so maybe the meanest person ever, but apparently I'm a good sportsman. Do you have the Mephiston? Yeah, I've got the new Mephiston. Funny story, I actually got the new Mephiston for free from Games Workshop, go figure. But yeah, no, I've got the new Mephiston. And I used him a lot, actually. I used him at a bunch of tournaments. Not many people ran Mephiston to tournaments. A lot of people don't like that he has no +1 to cast or anything. I think if we talk about Mephiston having a big weakness, he kind of has two. He has no +1 to cast. Well, actually, it could even be 3. He has no +1 to cast. He's no invulnerable save, and he has a D3 damage weapon. And a lot of people think D3 damage weapons aren't good, and I guess you could probably argue all day long that a D3 damage weapon is not good. Just because when you need damage, you're always going to end up rolling ones. So, what did I run on Mephiston? I think I ran him mainly with Wings of Sanguinius because I think the mobility is very good. I ran him with Unleash Rage because I think that's the best power from the Blood Angels discipline, because basically you can give exploding 6s to like a big squad of Sangre Guard or a big squad of Death Company with Thunderhammers. If you got a 5-man squad of Death Company with Thunderhammers and you've got rerolls to hit, and you give them Unleash Rage, and you know you got like 25 Thunderhammer attacks, you're gonna miss a bunch of them, right? Because they only hit on 4s. So you're gonna end up with like a lot of additional bursts. Possibly, like, I think I had one time with, it wasn't with the Death Company, but I'm sure I had one time with the Sangard where I had like 7 Sangard. So that's like, what, 35 attacks? I want to say I burst like 12 additional hits into a knight or something, like a -1 damage knight. And I literally wouldn't have killed a knight without Unleash Rage. So it was Wings, Unleash Rage. And then I took Blood Boil because it's a targetable mortal wound thing, and sometimes it's nice to be able to use targetable mortal wound powers to break units out of combat. You know, like the enemy puts the enemy's got one orc left or something, and it's just keeping you locked down in combat, and you really need to get out of combat, but they're not the closest targets, you can't smite them, so sometimes having like a blood boil can actually be really useful. John renamed him. You're in a funny mood tonight. I don't know if I did rename him. Like I genuinely tried to make him work. I ran him to a bunch of events. I tried really hard. I tried to win an event with Mephiston because everybody basically told me I was an idiot for running him. And like when people tell me one thing, that's usually when my brain goes, you know, like you ever seen that How I Met Your Mother? It's like challenge accepted. So if someone tells me you will not win an event with Mephisto, and I'm like, yeah, well, I'm going to run him to event after event after event and try desperately to win the event. So I ran him to like 2 events. And I think, you know, the problem with him is like he's a very swingy character. In some battles and some games and some of the events, he basically did moves that really helped me and made me win games, and then in the next game it's like, right, he failed every psychic power because he's got nothing to help him cast, and then he just died because he's got no invulnerable save or something like that. It was just like, okay, you know, it's really difficult to win events with non-meta characters, I guess. And I mean, I know that, but I just wanted to try and do it because reasons. Do I pay attention to the lore at all? Do you know, I've got all the books, and I do occasionally read them, and I am up to date with the Blood Angels lore. I have read the most recent Astaroth book, which is the one based after Darkness in the Blood. I haven't read the lore about the lore that's in the Arcs of Omens book, just because I never got around, like I never bought the Arcs of Omens books. Kev does have all of them, and he has promised to lend them to me so I could read the bit about Dante and stuff like that, but I haven't recently. I was going to say, like anytime there's a new Blood Angels novel, I will get it. I know there's a new Flesh Tearers novel, I do actually want to get that as well. So I'm reasonably up on the lore, but like I'm not a huge lore person. I don't follow lore for any of the other chapters. Or I was thinking about buying the Leviathan. I know there's a new book coming out for Leviathan. I think it comes out for pre-order on Saturday along with the Leviathan box. I was thinking about buying it. Maybe not the collector's edition, but like just buying it just to read about what's happening right now in the galaxy, I guess. But yeah, I'm not a huge lore person. My introduction to Warhammer was always playing the game, and for me the painting used to be like a distant second place, but now the painting potentially is more of a, like the painting and the playing are kind of on par for me. I enjoy doing both quite a lot. I have a week off work this week, beginning on Friday. So I'm going to try and make a video in my week off where I get all my models, all the painted models that I've got out, and kind of update on the state of my army, like what I actually have, what it looks like. Because it's just, like, I only play Blood Angels, so I have a lot of stuff. And I haven't done that in like 3 years at this point, so hopefully it's a lot more impressive than it was last time. Because there's a lot more models there, I guess. The Primaris Chief Librarian with Wings, Rage and Shield and Armor Indomitus became my Brutalis' best friend. Yeah, it's gonna be... I wonder what powers our Librarian Dreadnought's gonna get. It's gonna be a little bit... There's a lot of questions still to be had, isn't there? You know, at the start of 9th edition, my best friend
was a Leviathan Dreadnought with like the drill and the flamers. I think a lot of people probably ran the Leviathan with the Volkites. I ran them with the flamers, and then I ran them with like basically. You remember when the Judiciar had the 6-inch fight last? I used to run him the 6-inch fight last, and have him like hanging right behind the Leviathan. That was such a devastating combo. I remember like I used to always play Sisters of Battle, and Sisters of Battle always used to give me so many problems because just everything in their army was so killy. I remember one time like my Leviathan got charged by like, I want to say it was like 7 or 8 Repentia, and the Leviathan Dreadnought just went, right, I'm going to flame them. I want to say I killed like 3 or 4 of them with a flamer, because it's like a double flamer, right, on the Leviathan Dreadnought. And then after I'd done the flaming, I was like, okay, well now you can fight last, because I've got a Judiciar literally just behind my Leviathan Dreadnought. So it was like, I flamed and killed 3 or 4 of the Repentia, then I had my Leviathan fight them and kill like another 3 or 4 of them. So I think there was like maybe 2 Repentia left or something. And then he spiked a bad roll, and Repentia always, obviously, at least in 9th edition, they were -1 damage into Dreadnoughts, right? So it was like, they're only wounding my Leviathan on 5s, and they're only doing 1 damage, and I'm a Leviathan, so I've got, I think at that point, Leviathans still, I think they just changed from their 4 up to their 5 up in Invun, but I don't think it mattered. It was just like, it was such a great combo. Judiciar sitting on the butt of a Leviathan Dreadnought. I used that basically until they changed the Judiciar to only have a 3-inch heroic, or a 3-inch fight last. Well, it was the 6-inch fight last. I just used that all the time, and that was around the time that I started the channel. It was also around the time that people used to tell me like, you know, Blood Angels don't use Dreadnoughts, and I was like, well, I'm using one and it's bloody effective, because there's not many Blood Angels units that can be charged by 8 Repentia and take like 1 wound and kill all the Repentia. I was like, you can tell me what you like about not fielding Dreadnoughts and Blood Angels, but I've got a reason for doing it. I know my tactics, and I feel like I'm doing really well with it. And that was when like a few people were asking questions, and I was always like, yeah, I mean, maybe going all Dreadnoughts and Blood Angels isn't the most competitive you could ever be, but like, if you've got a strat and you're making it work, then don't let anyone tell you that, you know, that's not how this army plays, you need to play the army like this. I was like telling people like, no, don't listen to the naysayers that tell you you can't play your army the way you want to play your army. And that's one of the reasons that I like making my own lists and figuring things out. Like, no one told me about the Judiciar following the Leviathan around. I just tried it in a game and was like, holy crap, this is really, really strong, because Leviathans are really difficult to bring down, and if anything that charges them basically gets flamed and then fight last, you know, this is just a great combo that I can use in Blood Angels to a real high level of effectiveness, I guess. Alright, I got like 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to take off for the night. I think I'm going to stream probably Saturday night again, painting. Probably painting more of these guys. A Death Company Dreadnought with Blood Talons should give him full hits and wound rerolls. The Blood Talons are twin linked. Oh, maybe. You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe Death Company Dreadnoughts will be a lot stronger. I hadn't thought of that either. Actually, that they would. That the Blood Talons are essentially twin linked. So, on a Firstborn Dreadnought like a Furioso, the Furioso fists aren't twin linked. Even though he's got 2 of them, they're not. They're technically not twin linked, right? Well, regardless,
I'm sure I'm going to say this again, but thanks to everybody that has subscribed to the channel during 9th edition. It's been pretty great going from 0 subscribers at the beginning of 9th up to wherever we are now, 12,500. I guess there's so much more we can still do, or I plan on still doing it. And thanks to everyone that comes and hangs out and all the streams and the comments and everything. I'll probably say something like that in the channel trailer that I'm going to try and make next week as well. But I do really appreciate it. Thank you. One 2 Leviathans makes me sad. Yeah, I mean, I've got a Leviathan, 2 Contemptors, the Falchion, the Laser Destroyer, the Terrax. So for me, the Cerberus. So for me, it's like 8 different Forge World models. If you say that they average about £100 a time, usually probably more. For me, it's about £1,000 of Forge World stuff I can't use now, which is really, ugh. Fighter says you just finished Devastation of Baal and it was good. Then get yourself a copy of Darkness in the Blood. That's what's next, Fighter. And also get yourself a copy of the Astrath book after that, because that's what's next after that. I thought we would get another Dante book, or I thought we would get another Blood Angels book. I thought we might have had it by now. If the Blood Angels Codex isn't till next year, it might mean it's coming next year. And it might advance the story, talking about how Dante's gone through the Primaris, and maybe somebody else will go through the Rubicon, I guess. Alright, I'm going to take off for the night, guys. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Please leave a like on the stream before you go, and there'll be more content coming out on Friday, as always. And then next Friday it might be the new channel trailer. We'll see where I get to with it. 10 Vanguard veterans with hammers, supported by a Smash Master, might not be meta, but still 11 Marines with shields and thunder hammers looking to liquidize people. Yeah, I mean, there's so many questions about what's going to be good in 10th edition, and I will try and make videos and answer as many of those questions as soon as I can once we have all the rules, Julian. Yeah. A lot of people looks like they had a lot of Forge World stuff. It's a sad day. It has been a sad couple of weeks, the Forge World situation, but I guess that's what it is. Alright, enjoy your night, guys. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you in a couple of days. Peace. Good night, Brock.